Recounts. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. This story from Houston. Channel 13 in Houston, the ABC affiliate. Their website, abc13.com. A man who thought he was going to meet an internet friend wound up naked and robbed overnight. The man made plans with a chat room pal to meet at a Northeast Houston park. She was there, but so were 4 of her male friends hiding in the bushes. All my friends are guys. See, that is a red flag, boys. Police say they jumped out, stripped the man, and took all his money. They took off in the victim's vehicle, but they didn't get very far. But the victim called police, and they caught the suspects after a short chase that ended when the teenage driver smashed into a telephone pole. No word yet on what charges the woman and her alleged accomplices face. Now, I've told you about my opinion about the Internet. The kind of people you're likely to meet there. And here is just another piece of evidence. The kind of people you meet on the Internet. Now, every time I've discussed meeting people online, I get people calling up telling me, oh, yeah, but I'm getting laid 3 times a night. That's right. I get on Match.com. I cruise through. I look at the MILFs. I send them an email. I tell them I got just a crap load of money. And then they tell me to come over. And I come over there and I bang them. And then I leave. And that's it. And no, it's great, Tom. I get these calls all the time. People bragging. But I'd be willing to bet that this story from Houston is probably more common than the good experiences. And if it doesn't go that far, at least horrendous, horrible experiences where you go over and somebody is a skank, or somebody lives in a terrible place, or somebody's husband is in the other room. He doesn't mind. Yeah. I'm sure that really, 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 really bad things happen to people. And I don't care if it's a chat room or an instant message. I don't care if it's a website. I don't care what it is. I am willing to bet that there are horrible, frightening, injurious, almost fatal incidents that happen. You meet people who attack you. You meet people who, I don't know, have lesions all over their body. You meet people who threaten you, or you come over there and they're on drugs, or they're drunk, or they're insane. You showed up there thinking you were going to get lucky, or thinking you were going to get a little love in your life or something, and you got over there and it was absolutely horrible. So all you braggarts who call in here and brag about how many times you're getting laid by getting online, just sit back this hour. We're going to look at that seamy underbelly of the Internet. You're sitting there one night sipping on a cocktail and clicking around in chat rooms. It seems all too easy, right? Somebody says, hey, you live in Pomona? I live in Pomona. And suddenly you find yourself getting in the car and going to some complete stranger's house, right? It's a complete stranger. You don't even know if the picture they sent you is a picture of them. You don't even know if you're talking to a member of the opposite sex. You don't even know what you're talking to. But you've got a little buzz on. Now you're ready to get your groove on. You get in the car and you cruise over there, but then something terrible happens to you. If you have gotten on the Internet looking for sex or looking for love, and you believed everything that person said, and you drove right over there, and then it turned into a horror show. I mean a horror show. I don't mean you got there and somebody had bushy eyebrows or a hairy back. I mean somebody threatened to kill you, threatened to hurt you, did hurt you, chased you, They had spouses or live-ins in the other room, or somebody came home. They didn't tell you they were married. They didn't tell you they were involved. You know, the really bad stuff. Stuff so bad you're embarrassed to tell friends. That's the kind of bad I'm talking about. Or maybe stuff so bad you were sitting at a police station being debriefed. Perhaps you were telling the story of how you got debriefed. Like this guy in Houston got debriefed. If that has happened to you, I want to hear the biggest horror stories, the worst things that happened. You're online, chatting it up, emailing, instant messaging, whatever, and you decide, hey, what the hell? It's easy porn. I'll get the car, drive over. She's going to do me tonight. But you didn't exactly get what you bargained for.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis.
You want to know what my ideal woman is? Okay? My ideal woman will turn into a six-pack and a sandwich after I'm done effing it.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. All right, the seamy underbelly of meeting people online. Jason on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Jason.
How you doing, Tom?
Do you care?
Yes, I do.
I'm doing great.
Okay, well, basically, most of my internet stories are good, but there was this one time where I met this girl on the internet. We were talking in the chat room. She actually sent me naked pictures of her, and they looked good. So first I was kind of hesitant. We got on the webcam, and it was the girl. I mean, so I figured, well, hell, you know, I'm going to go over there. I went to her house in West Covina, asking her all kinds of background information, just asking her about her background. Didn't tell me any of the stuff that I found out at her house. First of all, I go to her house. I see pictures of, you know, just family pictures and stuff. Looked like there was pictures of her with, like, this guy and stuff. So I figured, oh, my God, what have I gotten into? I figure she has a husband. And all of a sudden I hear this baby crying in one of the rooms. And before I even asked her what it was, I got up and left. I was out of there.
So you don't even know?
No.
You don't even know?
Nope.
But she was ready to do you.
Yes, she was. And you know what? I said, forget it, because I had other good experiences, and I knew I was going to have more, but this one was just way over my head.
Wow. And did it temper your use of the Internet after that?
I tried it maybe one or two more times, then after that, yeah, I pretty much stopped.
That was it. I mean,
yeah,
you never know what might happen. It can be insane.
Yeah, it could. I mean, I guess my recommendation is try the webcam thing. If it's the same chick that you're seeing pictures of, then go for it, you know. But if they're just sending you pictures and you don't know what's out there, dude.
Even if they send you a picture of themselves.
Exactly.
You don't know what kind of psychotic nutcase is on the other end.
No, it could be some fat cow. It could be some chick that just wants to. I don't know. But yeah, it's a scary thing to get into sometimes.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. Eric on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Father. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you, son.
And I just want to say that about a year ago, I was online, and some girl emailed me out of the blue on AOL, of course, and she was saying how pretty she was and everything, and started talking to her online, sending emails back and when it came down to meet her, she was actually 14.
14?
14, and she was...
So wait a minute, so how far did you go with this 14-year-old?
Only on internet emails and etc. Then after I found out she was 14, I cut off all ties with her, and then she filed a police report on me.
Saying what?
Saying that I was sending her those emails with graphical materials saying stuff like, like cyber sex and stuff like that.
Well, that's great. So she was trying to trap you?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Were you prosecuted?
No, actually, because the fact is nothing ever did happen, and in her email she also did state she was 22.
Uh-huh.
So it kind of worked out for me, taught her a good lesson, but she was really gross. But recently I've been having good experiences with online girls. But
she was gross?
Really that one's really gross. She was nasty, like nasty. Like, I don't care how old she's going to get. She's still going to be ugly.
That's why she's so bitter.
Really bitter. Hell yeah.
No.
She still sends emails today.
What about?
Oh, saying no hard feelings. If we could hang out, go to a concert. I'm like,
oh,
no,
sure
sorry.
you will.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Put her on that spam list real fast.
Unbelievable.
Exactly.
Eric, thank you very much for that call. I appreciate it. 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Dan on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Dan.
How are you doing?
Do you care?
I do, Tom.
I'm doing great.
Tom, this is nothing compared to these, or this is the most horrible compared to these other guys. This was 8 years ago. There wasn't so many webcams and so forth, and met online, was emailed a picture. I was not listening to you. Stupid enough, I invited her to my apartment. She looked like Sasquatch. When it turned out the picture that she emailed me was 10 years old, and this was now, from what I could figure, 3 kids later. It was about midnight. She had quite a few recreational drugs, so I figured, well, you know what? She looks like Sasquatch, but I'll burn her and use all of her drugs up and then kick her out. Well, from what I can figure, about 3 o'clock in the morning was about the last that I remember. I was waking up at 9, and she must have slipped me something very, very hardcore because I was out for about 6 hours. When I woke up, I had cigarette burns in the shape of a pentagram on my chest.
No!
No shoot. And, yeah, with a nice big circle that goes about 10 inches high by 9 inches wide from nipple to nipple, belly button to neck. And, yeah, so at about 10, I go to try to track her down. And she had only lived about 6 miles away from me. And I call her cell phone that she had given me. Her father answers the phone. She's in the emergency room. So I'm thinking, oh, my God, what happened? Here I blacked out for 6 hours. I've got a pentagram with cigarette burns in the shape of a pentagram on my chest. So I call the emergency room, pretend like I'm her brother to check on there. She went in there at 5 with a tubal pregnancy that has exploded in the middle of the night. Amazing, Tom.
Oh, my God. And you still got that pentagram to this day, I take it?
This is 8 years later. I am married with 4 children, and the pentagram is there as plain as day. And I want to tell you, every time I'm asked about it, the story changes and gets a little different, because this is the first time that I've actually told what's happened to, exactly what's happened except for my wife. And all the other stories, I'm the cool one. I put them there myself. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But, no. Yeah, Tom, it was horrible.
Wow.
That was the first time and the last time ever with an internet experience.
Amazing.
So, yeah, scary stuff out there. Do not venture into waters unknown. That's advice that I would give to anybody.
No doubt about it, Dan. Wow, what a story. Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Michael on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm okay, Michael.
Hey, this internet is bad news for us guys.
Well, only if you don't know how to use it.
Oh, I know how to use it just fine. The only problem is I've had nothing but bad luck, fat chicks and nutcases.
That's what I tell everybody, And by the way, all these guys saying they're getting laid all the time, I'd like to see the quality of chick.
Yeah,
most hot chicks I know don't know how to turn on a computer, okay?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I've nailed a few of them. You spend the gas money to go out there, you might as well get something. But
yeah, and no one knows you there anyway, so no one will ever know. And I think that's what really happens. Guys go out there, they meet these hogs, pigs, fuglies, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you're already there. You already spent the time. Nobody's looking, so you just dive right in.
Yep. It's like a frat party.
So what happened to you?
Well, I tell you, I met this girl online. I just started, I was in a chat room one morning, and, fish on right away. She's like, yeah, I live real close to you. I'm from Seattle. She was in Kirkland. And she's like, come on out, the whole story. She's hot, and she wants to get laid and all this nonsense. And
you believed it, of course.
Well, it's everything you want to hear.
Right, but you believe. The point is, people can say what you want to hear all they want.
Right.
The point is, you believed it.
I bought it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I go out there and, you know, it's she's not that bad, you know, but she definitely wasn't anything nice. And end up hearing this guy come in the house, and, you know, she told me she had a roommate. But turns out it's her ex-boyfriend. He's in the midst of moving his stuff out. And, you know, I ended up hanging out with her for a couple of days and screwing and getting high and whatever, and she kept buying me stuff. And, you know, I'm thinking it's great. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, we go to rent a movie. Her video count, whatever, was overdrawn, so I go to get an account. And as I'm filling it out, I go to get in my wallet to get my Social Security card to put on there.
Yes.
And she knows it. She knows my number.
Oh, boy.
And my driver's license number by heart.
Oh, boy.
So, you know, I start freaking out right away. And, you know, long story short, you know, the whole experience was just bad. It ended up being a big crap.
Unbelievable. Thank you for that. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Chris on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. This is Chris. Love the show, man.
Thank you.
I just want to let everybody know that before I tell my story, this should be the definitive reason why not to trust anybody on the Internet. All right? I'm 20 years old. When I was, you know, under the age of 18, I lived in West Texas. And all I did was talk to girls on the Internet. That was my entire life. Well, until I was 17 years old when I met a girl online who basically changed my life, to say the least. So I met her in a chat room, and she told me to come over. And at that time, she lived in Odessa, which was like 20 miles away. But I wasn't afraid of driving over there because I wanted to get something, basically. And anyways, so I get there, and we start talking a little bit, and I'm hanging out in her living room. And she lights up and starts smoking some reefer. And I didn't smoke or anything. I still don't. But I was cool with it. I wasn't going to tell her not to do it. And she said, "Oh, hold on right here for a second." So I'm sitting there in her living room, just down a little bit. And she comes back out with a friggin' butcher knife and tries to stab me in the face.
What?
Exactly.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. She tried to kill me, Tom. So she comes at me, she lunges at me, and I do my best karate move and kick her as hard as I can in the gut. Then she falls on the ground, and I run out of the house. And that's the last time I ever met anybody on the Internet.
Oh, my God.
Exactly.
Now, looking back, were there any red flags?
Probably, actually. When I got in there was, you know, black lights everywhere. So I was thinking maybe she was, you know, a reaver head or whatever with all the black lights and whatnot. And there was Ozzy Osbourne stuff everywhere. And that's, you know, I'm fine with that. But Jesus Christ, there wasn't like anything else I could have thought of that could have told me she was a murderer, you know? Or I don't know if she's killed anybody before. I doubt it if she wasn't in prison. I don't know what happened to her, you know, after that. But still.
Did she have your phone number or anything?
No, she didn't have my phone number. All we did was talk online.
All right. Did she ever try to send you an instant message or an email after that?
I'll tell you what I did. When I got home, I immediately blocked her IM and everything. Blocked her email address. I didn't want to talk to her.
How many days did it take you to catch your breath after that?
I'm still trying to recover, to tell you the truth.
Wow.
3 years ago.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is a lesson to all the listeners out there. Do not mess with girls on the Internet.
See, I believe there's more experiences like yours than the guys who call in here bragging all the time about all the trim they're getting. All right, we're losing you there, Chris, but that was a fascinating story and exactly what I'm talking about. Joe on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, similar story. Hey, after a few semi-good experiences, go over to this girl's house. She basically, make a long story short, she sends me her sister's picture. I get over there. I end up getting tied down with some of them play handcuffs, you know. So
you were ready to play along with that?
You know, just because they were the play ones, I knew I could break out at any time.
Right. In other words, nobody like mugged you and then handcuffed you. You said,
no,
"Sure, put the handcuffs on." Absolutely.
Exactly.
I'll give you the control word. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, anyways.
We lost the call. Damn. Now we'll never know what happened after he was handcuffed, for God's sake. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Lorenzo on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Hey, yeah, actually, I got a pretty similar story to, I guess, all the rest of the people talking. But actually, I started to get on the Internet probably about 7, 8 years ago. And it was my first time experience using chat lines or whatnot.
Right.
And I heard about all these stories and stuff about guys banging chicks, meeting them through the Internet. So I figured I'd give it a try. And actually, at first it was great because I was meeting all these chicks and banging them left and right. But then, at one point, I met this lady that she wanted to meet me at my hometown. So I told her, fine, she lived probably about 50 miles away and stuff. And, I always tell them to meet me at a parking lot and get out of the car so that way I can see what they look like before I actually met them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met her, actually she looked pretty fine. And we had lunch, talked a little bit, and we decided to go back to my place. Well, going back to my place, we ended up banging left and right. And, it was a great time. And she said she wanted to see me back in about a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably about a week later, I get this phone call from her, all panicked and freaked out. I guess her husband got her cell phone bill.
Uh-huh.
And he ended up seeing that she made some phone calls out of her area. And he wanted to know who in the hell's number this was. So anyways, I get this phone call at home, and it was this guy all pissed off, wanted to know who in the hell I was. And she had warned me already, and I started freaking out. I didn't know what's going on, because I had no idea she was married.
Yeah.
So anyways, I ended up putting 2x4s on my doors, that way in case someone tried to kick the door in. But actually, there was one night...
What'd you tell the guy, by the way?
Do what?
When the guy asked who you were, what'd you say?
Oh, no. He called and left messages.
Oh, okay, yeah, so you never actually spoke to it.
Oh, hell no. I wasn't going to answer the phone.
I didn't know if you'd picked it up, and there he was.
No, actually, what I did is I ended up changing my answering machine because, I lived by myself at that time. I made it sound like there was about 4 or 5 guys living there. So that way and stuff, he couldn't know who it was. In case he ever confronted me, I'd just say, hey, it must have been my roommate. I don't know. But I ended up getting the hell out of that apartment after about a month later because I thought I was going to get killed.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was the last time I ever met a chick through the Internet.
Boy, oh boy, and I can't blame you.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Oh, you're so not nice.
I'm just honest.
I know. I love you for it.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. Here's our telephone number. Simon on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's up, Tomas? How you doing?
I'm doing okay, Simon.
All right, I got a little story for you.
Yeah.
Just a couple years ago, I was doing the whole online thing. I was, pulling trim left and right, easy as pie. So I'm in a chat room and I'm talking with this girl for a while. She sends me her picture, right? And she's like a really hot, good-looking girl. And so, we're talking for about a month or whatnot, and so I'm finally, I'm like, what the hell is, I want to meet you. And she kept putting it off and, coming up with excuses and stuff like that. And then finally I come down to meeting this girl. And I am not lying to you when I say that this girl was an absolute beast. I mean, 3.5, 350, facial hair. I mean, just.
Oh my God! How much facial hair?
I mean, you know how you can tell with some broads where you can tell that they've been shaving.
Wow.
And, I'm talking like a 5 o'clock shadow here,
Wow.
And I was pissed off because, to be honest with you, I kind of started to like the girl. I'm like, this girl, she's sending me this hot picture. She's hot and she seems cool and yada, yada, yada. And not to mention she lived like a good 45 minutes away from me. So, I mean, just the drive out there pissed me off. And, I mean, I almost fell down. It was just, it was a rough situation.
Bet you did.
Yeah, but, after she took care of me, I left and never spoke with her again.
I don't blame you, Simon. Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM. John on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Doing fine. I've got a couple of really unbelievable stories, but this one hurts. Back in 2000, I was on a business trip in Ogden, Utah. Actually, it was Provo, Utah. And just bored out of my mind. The beer there is like 1%, whatever. So during the day I'd work, but at night I had nothing to do but talk on the internet. So I started talking around. I looked at a local chat room, and I ended up talking to this girl who lived in Salt Lake City.
Right.
Knowing that I was flying out of Salt Lake City, we worked up to the point where we felt comfortable meeting each other. Well, she sent me a picture. She was definitely cute, blonde hair, tight body, but young. I think she was 18 or 19 at the time. So I purposely delayed my flight so I could stay, through the day to hang out with her. She got me a rental car because she worked there. So I drive out to her apartment building. I get in, I walk up to the door, knock, and she answers. And I was, satisfied. She was cute. We really only had one intention, which was to screw. She invites me in, and I walk in, and I'm just kind of bewildered by the decor in the apartment. It was black. Everything was painted black. There was pot leaf posters, black lights, lava lamps, kind of a stoner's lounge. Being 18, 19, I didn't think anything of it until I noticed the hot rod magazines, the Playboys, that sort of thing. It kind of made me think that she had a boyfriend. When I asked her about it, she said no. She was just interested in that sort of stuff. So, whatever. Get into a situation where we're in her room, start making out, get into bed with her, and she said, well, why don't you lay on your back and I'll get on top? I'm like, hey, this is a great way to start it. Get on my back, and she's, we're screwing at this point. The next thing I hear is this, "Aye!" The next thing I know, my knee is just buckled, and got up, and there's a man standing over me with nunchucks.
No!
Yep. Busted my knee in two.
Who was he?
It was her boyfriend.
Wow. And she never told you that he would be there or that she would have a boyfriend or anything?
No. Apparently it was some sort of trick, just so he can have his fun, because I guess it's really boring in Utah. So he was hiding in the room, and as we were doing it, he decided to go ahead and bust my knee in two. So, of course I'm stunned, and I really couldn't do anything about it. He's got nunchucks. I'm on my back with a broken knee, basically tossing me out. I have to drive to the airport and spend the night in Utah. Sucked.
Wow.
Yeah, it was totally unbelievable. I can't do any sport now, so I'm still paying for it. But this was back in 2000, and I hope things have changed, but from what it sounds like, they really haven't.
Unbelievable. John, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Damon on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Dad?
All right, son.
Well, let me tell you about my little story. I was talking on the internet. I saw this one girl. She sent me a picture. She was a 9, so I had her come through to my mom's house. We met. Let's just say she was in a 9. She was probably a 7. We started screwing, and then she wanted a relationship, and I was done enough to have a relationship. I called you. You told me to make her into a booty call, so I did. We were together for a couple more months, and then I found out, interesting little tidbit, she was married, and her husband was in the Army, and he wanted to kill me.
How did he find out about you?
She felt guilty about it, and she told him.
Oh, thanks a lot.
And my phone number.
No.
Yes.
So he called you up?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said, I heard you were screwing around with my wife. I said, I'm not screwing around with your wife. He said, well, I'm not going to say her name, but it's like, oh, yeah, me and her occasionally have sex. He said, oh, that's my wife. I said, well, you know what? That's not my problem. That's your problem. And he said, oh, I know where you live. I said, if you come to my house, I will have you arrested. My uncle's a lawyer, so I wasn't really that worried about it. He came through one day drunk, and then I called my friends, beat him up, so that was happening to me.
Oh, my God.
I learned one thing, never mess with a girl off the internet again. Usually they're lonely, they're fat, and they're homely.
Right. Or if they're good-looking, something else is wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But can you take me out Lacey Peterson style, Tom?
Oh, boy, that is tasteless. That would be wrong to do that. One 800-5800-TOM. Larry on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
That was great. That was yes. I got a story for you. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I live with my girlfriend, and so I got a little bored with the situation at home. So I go on the internet and put a post, and a couple of days later, this girl starts sending me responses, and she sends me her picture. And it's this hot Asian chick. Oh, my God. But she lives in San Francisco. And at first I wasn't going to travel more than 30, 40 miles out of my area.
That's quite a little drive, San Francisco.
Yeah, but she was hot. So we decided to get together and make arrangements, and make a long story short, I drive out there. It took me 4 hours to get out there, and I finally get there, and I knock on the door, and she answers the door, and I'm just as soon as I see her, I'm totally pissed because first of all she's dressed in jeans and just totally frumpy, and I'm shocked because this girl is balding. I mean, she's balding like a man.
No.
Okay. Yes.
Really?
So yeah, I mean, dude, she needs to go to the hair club. I mean, it was that bad. It was so bad when we were going to the movies, and first we went to the restaurant to get something to eat. And, I'm walking with this girl, and people are looking at us. I'm, like, totally embarrassed. And, this girl is, like, bald, going bald. I'm like, my God. So, I'm trying to be a gentleman. I'm trying to make the most of it. And I'm like, well, I'll just, take her out and, maybe, make something of the night. But, to make a long story short, she was a total bitch. She didn't look anything like the picture. I don't even think that was her in the picture. So, I just called it a night, and, she never called me again. I never called her again.
Did you tell her why you wanted to get out of there?
No, she kept asking me, well, something wrong, which was, insulting me. She knew, or she wouldn't keep asking me. And, she looked nothing like her picture, and I guess I didn't have the balls to, just, end it right there. And, I was trying to be the nice guy. But, she was totally homely, and, and I was just embarrassed to, be seen with her. It was that bad, and I consider myself a nice guy, but I was literally embarrassed to be seen.
I don't think anybody is that nice.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866. Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Have you fathered children for people? No one has ever asked me for this. Probably because they don't want to have some big-mouth, bratty kid.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Jennifer on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
So, I'm in the chat room. I meet this guy. His name... Sexy Babe with the numbers at the end. And so I start talking to him. He answers messages me. I'm like, hi, we chat for a little bit. Not long, maximum 10 minutes. Come find out he lives about 20 minutes away. So we're going to meet up. I go meet up with him to get something to eat. Oh, he asked me one question on the internet. What's your favorite flower? I say tulips. I love tulips. So I see him. He's holding tulips. He gives me, after we've met up, we just meet out at the local restaurant. We talked for about, 20 minutes at the restaurant. Next thing I know, he's down on one knee, proposing to me.
Really?
I can't believe it.
Now, what did he do for a living? He was not a telephone screener for a radio program, was he?
No. So then, I don't know what to do. At this point, I'm just, whoa, hello. But we had so much in common, so I didn't want to give it up. So I just, I was blown. I was taking my breath away. I say yes. I couldn't believe it.
You said yes?
I said yes. I never thought anything like that happened to me. Never in my wildest dreams.
Well, if you were lucky, it wouldn't. But, okay. So you said yes.
I said, and we are together now.
You're together now?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in love.
How's it going?
It's beautiful marriage.
Right. Beautiful marriage. You have any kids?
No, not yet, but I'm sure we will.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you look like, dear?
I have blonde hair and green eyes.
Yeah, how tall are you?
How tall am I?
Yeah.
I'm about 6'1".
6'1".
Yeah, and he's a short little guy. That's the funny part about it.
Short little guy. How much does he weigh? How much do you weigh?
How much do I weigh?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing on TV.
We're not on TV.
Radio. Well, shoot, I guess I'll say it. Oh, honestly, or can I make it up?
No, tell us the truth.
Oh, 175.
175.
And no way, I'll just say it.
No wonder you said yes.
Little boy, he is, but man, well, it's beautiful. He's a little boy.
I see.
Just, I mean, what, you know, you never know where you'll meet the one. You got to keep your eyes open, you know.
Right. Keep looking down.
So, all those, you know, I've been listening to the show. I've just heard all those terrible things. The knife, the nunchucks, whatnot. You know, there's some magic out there in the air.
I know. I'm getting turned on listening to your voice, for Christ's sake.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.